Welcome to Running on Empty, the podcast with the goal to get you out the door and running, even when you're running on empty. I'm your host, Ashley Cahart.
And I'm your co-host, Kamile Randall.
And this week we have a great topic we want to talk about, which is 10 surprise gains we've got from running.
Yeah, it's some things we didn't know that we will unlock from running, but has been great surprises that we gained.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice because it's like things that you just never really would have thought about, whether it's in the mindset or in the physical. So we're going to get into it in just a minute. But first, Kamile, how was your week of running?
It was okay. It was pretty good. I had my second lactate test this week. Do you know what a lactate test is?
Not really. I mean, I know that on my Garmin, I have like a lactate threshold, which I assume is the not as scientific version of a lactate test.
I would assume so. I do not have a Garmin, so I don't know.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I am one of the non-believers so far. But yeah, I wish I could compare what my imaginary Garmin would say and the real ones. But a lactate test is basically a test when you do interval runs, and sometimes it's being done in the gym on a treadmill, and you do 3 or 4 minute intervals of running at different speeds. Or in my case, we did it in a stadium, and both times we did it in the stadium.
On a track.
Yeah. Track, stadium, not the same.
No, I mean, I'm just double checking.
Okay, yeah, in a track. And the first time I did it, I had to run 800-meter intervals. And this time we did it in a different stadium. So it was 900-meter intervals. So the whole way to do it is that first you warm up a little bit. And then I had to do 900 meters at different speeds. And the person that did it to me, it's like he's like a friend, but he is himself starting to coach, so he has done this the second time for me, and he tells me a time in seconds. So for example, the first interval, I think it was like 53 seconds. In 53 seconds, I have to run 150 meters. So like every 150 meters, I lap my watch, and I just run the next 150 meters in those seconds.
So you keep going 53 seconds by 53 seconds by 53 seconds.
For 900 meters without stop. And after 900 meters I've done it, then I stop for 1 minute. I also lap my watch to like count the minute. And in that minute, he draws the blood from my fingertip. Sometimes like in some official tests, I guess, you can draw blood from the earlobe.
Okay, yeah, because I think I've seen that on something online about doing the ear. So, but is it kind of like one of those like insulin diabetes kind of tests, like where they prick your finger just a little bit?
Yeah. It's almost exactly the same. They prick your finger a little bit. You push out one little droplet of blood that you wipe away because it's mixed with sweat. And that's why earlobe is a little bit more precise because there's less sweat.
Oh, yeah. You don't sweat on your ears.
Well, I actually don't know. Maybe a little bit, but not as much as in your hands. And then with the second blood, you have this little machine and you put it on, I don't know any of the official terms, but this little paper that you put in the machine, and then the machine tells you what your lactate is at that specific moment in time. And then so the goal is just to track how lactate increases. So at first, the lactate is quite stable. So the first 3 or 4 intervals I did, I think it was 1.6, 1.4, 1.3, something like this. And at first it was a little bigger, and then it went a little down. And at some point, as the intervals increased in speed, my lactate became 1.9 and then 2 point something. And then that pretty big increase of at least like 0.6, 0.4 means that your lactate, so your actually, let's backtrack a little bit. Do you know what lactate is?
Well, yeah, no, because I was just wondering too, because you'd also said something about speed. So lots and lots of questions. But okay, yes. So let's go back for a minute. No, tell me, what is lactate?
Lactate? Well, actually, I don't remember the exact biological mechanism right now. So that's a little bit funny because I just forgot my medical studies. But more or less. So when you are producing energy, you're using sugar molecules, and it goes through this process, and there's two different processes that one uses oxygen, the other one doesn't use oxygen. And when you use oxygen, usually energy is produced with the after results of carbon dioxide, CO2, and water, H2O. And when it's the anaerobic pathway, meaning it doesn't use oxygen anymore because it's like you need energy faster, then the after product is lactate. And so if you're in a aerobic, so if you're using oxygen, part of your exercise, then you produce some lactate, but it's at the rate that you also can clear it pretty well. So
if you were like going on an easy run and you were going to, let's say, I don't know, do 10K, if you're going at that easy pace, that's an aerobic pace, then you should be fine the whole time because you're, so to speak, killing off the lactate.
Yeah, like you're not producing it in a way that you cannot clear it.
Recover from it, okay.
Yeah. And then at some point when your heart rate increases and your effort increases, it means that you aren't able to use oxygen anymore so much in the way you produce energy, and then lactate starts to accumulate. And that's when lactate accumulates, that's the heaviness in your legs that you feel, sometimes after in intervals, like it starts feeling like your legs are made of steel.
Yeah.
So that's why, because lactate accumulates, and it has two thresholds. At the first threshold, like up until the first lactate threshold, that is your recovery and zone 2 zone. So the first lactate threshold, that's basically when your zone 2 stops more or less, and you subtract 15 heartbeats, and then that's where your recovery, like the first zone, ends. So that's
like
how you have the first two zones.
Like if, let's just make up that your zone 2 tops out at 140.
Yes. So I can say my own, so when I did it a year ago, my first lactate threshold was 160, and now this time it was 169. So up until 169, I am in zone 2, more or less. It's not like exactly precise, so it could be 165 too, but it's around that time. And then if I subtract 15 heartbeats, so if let's say 165 minus 15, it means that I'm in the recovery state, in air quotes, zone 1, up until 150 beats per minute.
Okay. So then let's say too, let's say your lactate threshold was lower, maybe it was like 150.
Yeah.
Then that would mean that you are able to recover and get rid of the lactate up until around 135.
Yeah.
So as long as you went for like an easy run and you stayed under 135, if your lactate threshold was 150, you would be able to maintain it and continue.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So the higher it is, that means that the more your aerobic, your oxygen driven engine is bigger.
Is that kind of limiting how far you can go before you kind of run out of energy?
Yeah, more or less. Not necessarily run out of energy, but before you get fatigued. So up until the first lactate threshold, you don't get fatigued so easily. You get tired anyway. I get tired sitting, but it's still you can sustain that effort for a very, very long time. And then after there's the second lactate threshold, after which you're becoming in the zone 5, your heartbeat is really high. But in the between those two thresholds, there's the zone 3 and 4, and then that's where most of your interval sessions are supposed to be, your fartlex, which is a word that my husband usually laughs at, but it means I think it's in Swedish, means speed play.
Yeah,
you know that.
Yeah, sure. It's great because it's you just keep kind of changing up your pace as you go. You don't ever take any breaks, but you can kind of play around with how fast you go.
Yeah. So that's what I did this week, because I've done it a year ago, and then since then I have been quite sick, and then I also ran a marathon, and it's just been a weird year, so I had no idea what to expect. But apparently I did improve significantly. My lactate line, it moved further, so at a higher heart rate my lactate is lower now.
Yeah.
But it didn't change for paces. I think the same pace still gives me the same lactate, but different heart rate. Or I might be
your heart rate is improved then, maybe, and
yeah.
So but your body, maybe your muscles are still happy at the old pace.
Yeah.
So now that you know your new number,
Yeah.
how does that affect you in training yet? Have you thought about that? Is it just like nice to know?
Yeah, it's nice to know, but also it's something I kind of thought that it's going to be that way anyway, because I kind of just like I know how I feel. But basically what my lactate test shows me is that I have a very big, very strong, like the easy engine, the aerobic engine, meaning I can do zone 2 forever. And my zone 2 is super wide. But after we go after zone 2, like above zone 2, I become super weak.
Yeah.
Like my heart rate goes from zone 3 to 4 in like a couple heartbeats. And it's really hard to then like catch which zone you are in. It just means that I haven't done enough interval workouts. I haven't done enough speed stuff, and that's what's stopping me. Like, because it kind of depends on what kind of runner you are and what you're training for, but you still need to have both of your parts, like the speed part and then the endurance part, quite strong to be a good runner. And not a good runner, but anyone is a good runner, but like a runner that improves. And the thing that limits me the most is the high zones, the speed zones.
And right now you're training for the 5K, like trying to do the sub 25. So
Yes.
This might be especially important for you.
Yes, that's why I chose it. I chose it because I knew that after the marathon, my zone 2 was quite evolved. And then I knew that anything above 165 heartbeats, I'm like immediately dead.
Yeah.
So I knew I have to improve those parts. That's why I'm doing this. It's really hard because it's something that I'm weak in, but it's fun.
The speed?
Yeah. But also in the summer, it's better in a way that the runs are not as long.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think, I think there's two types of runners, like people that are trying to race or improve. There are people that are more turned on by speed and getting faster. And there are people that are more turned on by distances and saying like, oh, I ran further and further.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to find, which motivates you more. But right now you're kind of in a speed motivation. Yeah.
Well, I don't really care for speed, but to improve my zone 2 speed, I need to improve my overall top speed, and then zone 2 improves as well. It's just like you have to train the whole spectrum, even though like you're training more for something else. I mean, we both do endurance, like we like doing half marathons and stuff. So I want that to be the thing I'm concentrating on mostly, but to improve my half marathon speed, I need to improve my speed in general.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do right now. It would be easier with a coach. It's a lot harder to coach myself. It's just like of the things that I know and read and so on. I am waiting in queue for a coach. But yeah, like this is what I'm trying to achieve right now with this. And that's why I did the test to make sure this is the right path I'm going on and just to see what the progress is. And
yeah. No, it's really interesting. Yeah. Like, 'cause I have mine on my Garmin and like, I know that number and I assume it's a good thing. I mean, I see it change. Like sometimes I'll see like, new lactate threshold unlocked or something like that. And I'll see that the number goes up. But yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like I joke that I'm one pace person. And that every run I go on is basically the same pace, whether I run 5K or 30K. I mean, obviously that's not all the time, but it kind of feels like that. I can go faster than that, but I don't really push myself to. And it's funny, even like, cause this week it's been really hot again, like 30, 32 degrees. So like Fahrenheit, that would be like 90. And again, it's for 2 days. Prior to that, it's like 20 degrees colder. It feels like.
Yeah. And it's not that hard. It's 32, but it feels horrible. It's so much worse than it was the same this year. I don't know.
Yeah, because it was like 20. Again, it was like 20 a couple of days before. And then even today, like it was 32 yesterday and today it's 22.
Yeah.
So we've had like these massive ups and downs. And so I really struggled. And it's funny because I went out just today for my easy run and, it was really nice weather. Like it wasn't terrible or anything, but I wasn't really feeling like pushing myself very much. I went in the middle of the afternoon, which for me is kind of a weird time of day. I usually go like I'm an after work type runner. And it kind of felt hard. And I just thought it was so weird because then when I came home, my heart rate was like base zone 2. So from a like physiological standpoint, I was not pushing myself at all. I was going very, very relaxed. Like, I actually haven't even seen a heart rate that low recently on me because of temperatures. But at the same time, I was like, oh my God, this is like really difficult. I don't know. But then sometimes too, I wonder like, if you go too slow, does it seem too hard? Like you want to, let's say your happy pace is 6 kilometers per hour, but you slow down to 6:30. Is there a part of your brain that's like, this is harder because it's keeping you slower, or whatever the pace is? I kind of wonder about that sometimes. Or, you're just not having a good day.
Yeah. But like, I think this is not scientific, but I do think that's correct. There's like a interval of paces, a scope of paces in which I can run in zone 2 comfortably. And then if it's just a little slower than that, I become incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's almost like my muscles don't warm up enough, and that's why I feel really sluggish.
Yeah.
But there's truth to that. Like, it's just...
I also think it depends if I'm with people, because the pace I was at today, I also have run with my friend at, and it was very comfy and fine. But then maybe when I was alone, maybe I want to be faster. I also do this thing. We should talk all about like, what do you listen to, or nothing, or music or podcasts or whatever. If I want to intentionally go slower, I'll listen to a podcast because they're just talking and I'm kind of focused a little bit more on it, as opposed to like a beat that's going like, and keeping me going. So, I was just kind of like, la-di-da, listening to this podcast, and then unfortunately it was one of those ones with like 3 minutes of ads, and then I don't want to listen to them because they're repetitive. So I stop, and then I fast forward, and then I get going again. So it was like a very relaxed mindset, but I think that's good because tomorrow is my long run. And I'm going to do 19K tomorrow, which we'll see, because I just haven't been feeling it. But
But you've been hitting all your kilometers in the summer still, right?
I'm hitting my distances.
Yeah.
I'm not hitting my paces.
But that makes sense.
I mean, I'm not hitting my paces at all, but I'm hitting my distances because I think, when I look at myself as a runner and you try to think about your strengths, whether that was like, I know that I can push through a really hot session, or, I know that I will get up and I'll go for the run. I think my biggest strength that I have is that I won't quit. So if it says that I have to run that distance, I will run that distance. It will happen. I won't stop. And like a DNF for me has to be like I did not finish. Something serious has to happen for me to DNF. So I think that's a really good strength that I've unlocked, which takes me to our topic this week, which are 10 secret gains that we've gotten from running. I think these are really cool because we were talking about a while ago, every once in a while you go, hey, I can do this thing now, and I never thought I could do this before. And like, oh my God, it came from running. So I think it's great too for people who maybe aren't running a lot, or, don't think that they're getting the progress that, TikTok and Instagram tells them that they should have, that there are things that could be happening in their lives that are secret gains that they've actually had. So let's get started. I'm really excited to hear the first one, which is yours.
Yeah, my first one is that I have learned to use running mat in my life everywhere, and it has benefited me tremendously. So first of all, what is running mat? So running mat is when it's like a psychological thing. When you run, and let's say you run a 10K, and doing a 10K is hard. So then you divide the 10K into 1 kilometer distances in your head, and you're like, I can do 1 kilometer. I can do 1 kilometer anytime. And this is just 10 times 1 kilometer. I can do 1 kilometer when I'm woken up in the middle of the night or something. And then when you're doing that kilometer, if it becomes hard, then you're like, okay, I only have, 800 meters left. That's 4 times 200 meters. I can do 200 meters anytime. So that's the runner's math. I have used it so much when I was training for my marathon.
Yeah.
And the app that we're using, Rana, also kind of does that. Not exactly in the same way, but it also splits up our runs in like paced little intervals of like 5 kilometers at this pace and then 6 kilometers at this little bit more fast pace or a little slower pace. Or so it also helps mentally because you're like, oh, I cannot do a 5K, so it's just 3 5Ks. So I have started using this psychological hack in my everyday life when I'm doing anything that's hard. So a lot of the times when I'm at work and I struggle to concentrate, I put a timer on my watch of like, okay, I will sit and focus for 1 hour. And in that hour, sometimes I get tired and I look at the watch and I'm like, oh, it's 35 minutes left. Oh, it's just 7 intervals of 5 minutes.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I can focus for 5 minutes anytime.
Okay, cool. So you'll be like, I'm going to work on this thing at my desk for 5 minutes and then I'll work, and then each one kind of continues with it.
Yeah. And I started using it in all of the things that I struggle with, and it really, really helps.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar for number 2, which is I have an increased amount of patience. And I take this to be more like patience when you're in situations out in public, like maybe there's like a really long queue at the store, you need to wait in traffic, those kind of things. They don't bother me as much as they used to. And I think a lot of that comes from long distance running because, like using the math, maybe you have to run 20K. So you're like, okay, that's only 4 or 5Ks. But I'll say to myself, like, well, like, yeah, but you're still going to run 4 or 5Ks. So we're going to be out here for a while. So you might as well just get used to it, and just be here in the moment. And I think a great example, of how when I realized it worked and I realized I unlocked this thing was, at Cape Town Marathon afterwards, at the bag check, which like, I will say, and we're going to, in another episode, we're going to talk about marathon experience. And I'll talk all about Cape Town. But I said the only thing that wasn't great about Cape Town was bag check. It was horrible. Like they really did not think bag check through at all.
How long did you have to wait?
I was probably there for 45 minutes and I was at the front of the fence for my section. It was like cordoned off into different sections and they didn't really organize the bags, and these numbers are like in the 10,000s, so your number's like 1, 5, 8, 2, 9 or something like that. And they're just like looking on the floor for bags and you're just getting pushed and pushed. And there was a woman next to me who was really struggling, which then like annoyed other people, and everyone's acting like, they're the only person who has a bag at this marathon of 27,000 people, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to get the bag when I'm going to get the bag. So like, let's just chill here and kind of wait for it. And so when I realized that, I noticed that I've been doing that a lot more.
Yeah, you just kind of grew this mental capacity to be like, yeah, it's a struggle. I'll deal with it. I can do it. That's nice. I haven't gotten this skill yet. I'm still not patient.
But it kind of leads into your number 3 skill.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I did not expect, and now I cannot stop running because of it, is because I'm a nicer person when I run. And my husband even noticed that sometimes when I get really grumpy, he's like, you haven't been for a run in a few days. It's just, I don't know why exactly, but well, actually, no, it does. Running does a lot of good stuff for your hormones. Like it releases endorphins, and it's the happy hormones that make you feel good. And I guess it also releases tension and stuff. So when I run, after my run, I feel like I can do anything. The world is nice. I love myself. I love anyone else. I feel motivated to do all these other things. And then if I don't run, I become like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, so that's like something that I didn't expect, and now I can never stop.
I mean, I definitely think that I feel that too. Like if I had a really crazy hard working day or something, most people will be like, I'm tired, I want to go have a glass of wine, or I want to watch TV. And I'm like, man, I just need to go for a run. If I just go for a run, everything will be better. It's like, aren't you exhausted? Yeah, but I need to run. But on the other side of that, like the nice side and like the mental health aspects, my number 4 is more of the physical aspects of that, and being more in tune with my body in the sense of like potential injuries and like what are my capabilities and things. Because I look back to when I used to run years ago on and off, because I've talked about like I tried a little bit in my 20s for example. And I mean, the second anything hurt in any way, I'd stop. Like, oh, I don't know, my calf feels a bit twingy, I should stop. Like, oh, I have a stitch, which is like a super common one. You hear lots and lots of people talk about stitches.
I got it today.
Yeah, I mean, like, it happens all the time. It can come from so many reasons, but I started to actually learn what was like a niggle and just a small little thing versus something that's serious and I should pay attention to it. And I've started being much more in tune with myself. What kind of pain is it? Is it real, or is it something that's going to pass?
You have that little hack that you share that is really helpful, and it actually like even is helpful for me.
Oh, my stabby. Yeah. No, it's funny. Yeah. So I was actually talking to Camile's husband.
And he's the star of the show.
Yeah. And we were talking about, he's just starting out running. He's running a little bit, a few times a week, maybe. And he was talking about aches and pains. And he was like, well, when should I stop? And I was kind of making light of it. But I said, if the pain feels stabby, like some sort of sharp pain, I think you should stop. But if it just feels like choky, meaning more like constricted a little bit, and it just doesn't feel right, like a great example of that would be more like the stitch thing, where like it's not a sharp pain. Now, obviously, honestly, if you have a sharp pain, you should stop if you have like an abdomen kind of a pain. But most people don't. It's really more like somebody's, I don't know, like kind of pinching you really hard, or like, putting a little pressure on you. And those kind of ones, you can usually push right through them. And so, yeah, once you start like being more in tune with your body and understanding the difference between the two, it's made me a lot more confident in general, with my athletic abilities, which then, relates back to the being nicer part and just feeling like all around better.
Yeah. And it also connects to my number 5 is the one that is, I just trust my body a lot more to do hard things. And I just know what I can do and how to do it. And that I can, I go to these fitness classes now, and we have all these hard bits there. And I just don't have any doubts that I can do it all of the time, because I just know my body, and I know that I can do hard things, and I can sometimes push my limits. And I used to go to the gym a while ago before I was a runner, and I always would take the lightest weight every single time, just to be able to do it, like, because, oh yeah, I gotta finish the set and I gotta do it fast and all these wrong things. And now I take the hardest weight that I can do it with, but I still don't take it too hard. I don't want to get injured, because my body's now really important to me, and I just know how it functions, and I can trust it to do these things for me, which I didn't expect, but it's good.
Yeah. I think for me, so the next number 6 is related to that as well, but it's surprise physical strengths that I have. So I, like many runners, did not go to the gym because I don't want to go to the gym. I want to run. What's the point of going to the gym? And then I had enough of that kind of propaganda pushed at me that, it'll make me a better runner. And so I started going. I said to myself, okay, let's try to go twice a week. At the minimum, you have to go once a week. Like, you have to guarantee yourself. I started going. And it's funny because I was telling someone this. I said, yeah, and unfortunately, I saw significant improvement and said, oh no, it really works. I have to keep going. But I was scared to try things out, like kind of like you. I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll do the low weights, this and that. And so I had 2 things that really stood out. The first one was lunges. I always have hated lunges so much. I've been terrible at them. I couldn't do them. The thought of my knee touching the ground when I did a lunge was laughable. That has never happened in my entire life. Then, when I started going to the gym, I said, okay, like, let's just see how far you can do it. Let's just try one. Bing, knee to the ground. Wait a minute. How's that possible? And I could do it. And then I started increasing, and now I use weights when I do them. I do reverse lunges because I heard reverse lunges are a little bit better for runners, because they work on like the hamstrings a bit more. But I could do lunges, and that's something that I never thought I could do. The other one was another exercise that I thought was impossible. And I just said to myself, I'm going to see what I can do, which was the dreaded plank, which is, I think nobody likes planks.
I like to do it for 30 seconds because for 30 seconds I feel strong and then the shakes come in and then I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah, it's horrible. And I think up until 6 months ago, the longest plank I'd ever done in my entire life was maybe 45 seconds. And then one day I decided to try and see how far I could go. And I managed a minute and a half. And I thought, okay, that's really far. Then the next session I went to the gym and I managed to do it in 2 minutes. And I thought, oh my God, 2 minutes is the limit. I can't believe it. And then the next time I did 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is like unbelievably long time.
And I remember when you told me this, we talked about it a little bit, and you are doing the elbow one, and you were like, "Yeah, that's the easier one, right?"
Oh yeah,
which is wrong. The elbow one is the harder one to do.
Yeah.
So you're doing the harder plank for 2 minutes 30 seconds. I can do the straight arms one for 1:45. I think the longest I've ever done.
Yeah,
and then you can do 2:30 of the elbow one.
I didn't know.
It must be the 5 times a week running.
I thought it was the easier one.
I don't know what's officially, but I am convinced that the elbow one is harder.
Yeah, but secret thing, I have double jointed elbows. Yeah, like they twist further back.
Well, that doesn't help you.
So I think that's why I prefer the elbow plank to the straight arm, because I think when I do the straight arm, my elbows kind of twist back in a funny way that just feels weird. I never knew I had that till once I was in a spinning class and the teacher was like, "What is wrong with your arms?" And I was just like, I thought it felt totally normal the way I'd been holding the handlebars. And they were like, "No, that's weird. You look weird."
It looks like it's broken into the other side.
It's totally fine. So a surprise physical strength that you'll gain. And I was not doing sit-ups. I was not doing anything. This was just from 2+ years of solid running.
Yeah. My abs also increased in strength and, I guess appearance, because of running without anything else, which is also surprising. But then also that plays into my other one, which is the aesthetics of the body. So I now have a little bit of an outline of the abs, and that is the only physical strength that's obvious on my body from running. But I do not care because I just feel strong and I feel athletic a lot of the time. And like, I'm not a professional athlete and I cannot do all these other things, but I feel super strong for my own body. And, I think for women especially, the part of like not caring about the aesthetics as much is quite important. And it just, even today I was coming to your house and, there were some drunk men sitting on the bench and they stared, like sometimes they do, obviously. And I was just like, I'm a strong lady. I'm powerful. If they attack me, I could run away or I'll do all this thing. And I walked with confidence instead of like slouching down and trying to be invisible. And walked with this like strength, confidence.
And you're like, and you're drunk and I could run 40K away from you.
Well, maybe now a little less. I haven't done a long run.
Okay, maybe 20K, but still you'll make it. You'll survive. No problem.
Yeah. So the whole aesthetic part, I feel like it has given me a lot more happiness in my life too. I'm worrying about the aesthetics of my body a lot less.
Yeah. That's really great. And then so the next one, number 8, is also yours.
Oh yeah. Number 8 is my sleep. I did say that in the first episode, I think, that when I started this current job, I used to sit a lot and I wouldn't get tired enough by the end of the day. So I just would go to bed and I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. And then since I started running, my sleep improved so much. As long as I don't run right next to sleep.
Oh, same. I'm the same. Like that's the problem. People say, oh, I'll go run later, like 8 or 9 o'clock at night because it's cooler.
Yeah.
But then it's like an hour before bedtime by the time I get showered and things and I can't turn off.
Yeah, I need to have like at least 2-hour gap before bed, which is uncomfortable because I also like to run after work a lot more because I feel like a zombie in the mornings. I cannot go for a run in the morning. I can go to the gym, but not for a run. But anyway, and of course sometimes I have sleep trouble, but it hasn't been as bad as it used to be for a long time. Sleep, just because also it removes stress and also it improves happiness and it makes you tired and uses all this energy that you gain or like collect while you sit. So my sleep increasing is also something that I didn't know that will happen.
Yeah, because I think we talked about, I just said earlier, like even if I've had a really rough day, I want to go for a run because, mental tiredness and physical tiredness are not the same thing. And you can be mentally exhausted, but your body still has the energy, like from the food you ate in the day. And especially too, if you're very mentally tired, you were probably doing a lot of sitting because you were probably at work, or in those kind of environments, and you probably weren't moving around a lot. But I was to say, so that movement is like really balances you out.
Yeah. This is also a thing that you don't know, that a lot of times when you work a lot and you get mentally tired, you feel like you are physically tired, but then you go to bed and you can't fall asleep. So it's your brain lying to you and going. A lot of the times when I just started running, I would feel like, oh no, I don't have the energy. I cannot go for a run. And then I would somehow kick myself off the door, which is the hardest part always. And then I would start running and I would be, whoa, I have all of this energy. I would do my PR or something.
Yeah.
Because my brain or your brain, everyone's brains are very good at lying to us.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That's like I said, the thing where mantras, I refer to myself as you, because then it's like tricking my brain because an outside source is talking to me and the brain's going, oh, that's me. Oh, yeah, she said that I can do it. I can do it, So I think that's great. So number 9 is kind of a funny one for me, but multiple people have brought this up over time, noticing that I'm capable of this now. So what it is I have unlocked the ability to know the distance to anywhere.
Do you mean like you eyeball it, like that you can see, or you can just, without even seeing, if you know something in the city, you can...
Yeah, like if you said to me, if you named a store or a famous point in the city, like if you said, okay, now we're going to go there, I could tell you roughly the distance, like different roads and how long it would take, like what the distance is to get there. So if you said that you wanted to go to the National Library, I could tell you that that's like 2.2 kilometers from here. Or if I wanted to go over to, I don't know, Town Hall, I know that's like 1.6. Like I've managed to do this over time, and because for a long time, especially on longer runs, I would use on the go map. It's a really, really simple web interface where you can just kind of do point to point. It's better than Google Maps because you can choose the roads and things, and it'll also tell you the elevation. So if I had to go for like a really long run, I would say like, okay, well, I need to make sure that I need to find 17 kilometers or whatever, and
without traffic lights.
Yeah, like, and figure out the distance. Now, sometimes I'll go, and I'm sure it'll be fine, and I will get within 200 meters of my apartment on that distance.
Wow.
Like, and I just know, okay, yeah, if you turn right here and we go down this road, we're going to manage to get here, and then bam, you'll be back at the appropriate amount. And I almost never have to do, the famous, runner's loop where you say it's like, you're running 10K and it's 9.9. And so then you like circle the parking lot until you get to 10. I don't actually have to do that very often. I'm like really good at landing at my final spot.
That's very cool and funny. I am good at the routes that I do often because I mostly repeat routes, and then I know from each point of the route how much is the distance. So I know, like, if I know I have to do a 2K warm up or 1.5 warm up or 3-point warm up, I choose my path accordingly because I know where I'll be at the end of those kilometers. And also I'm pretty good at eyeballing, like if I look down the street, I'm like, I know that is 100 meters. That is 100 meters again, because that's what is very important in my intervals.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't have that skill.
No, and I'm really proud of it too, because like living in Europe, the streets aren't like grid system easy. Like where I'm from in Philadelphia, every single block is the same.
Oh, it's the same distance.
Yeah, in the center of the city, everything is a grid system. So every block is roughly the same thing. So like every block is roughly 200 meters. Yeah, and that's just it. And every single one, so you don't change. But here it could be completely different on the same street. One is 450 and the next one is 200, which, for example, I just did in my mind. I just thought of 2 specific ones because I'm a weirdo now and I can do this. But all this leads to our last one, which is number 10, which is our best secret gain from running, which is the confidence to start a podcast about it.
Yeah, I am still a little bit struggling with this one.
But you did it, and you've used runner's math, so you know that each podcast episode is just one podcast. You're nicer to yourself and you're happier, so you want to do it, and you had good sleep beforehand, so you're ready to go.
Very, very nice.
Very nice. So we're going to end this week. Normally we have our win of the week, but we were talking about this, and all 10 of these, I think, are wins of the week. So we're very happy to say that we have those, and we would love to hear from you. If you have any special gains that you've gotten from running that you'd want to share with us, you can always email us at hello.runningonempty@gmail.com, or you can reach us on our website, runningonemptypod.com.
Or you can even send us a message on our Instagram.
Yeah, our Instagram, which is runningonempty_pod. Very important part to have on there.
Okay, now this is the most difficult part of the whole podcast for me every single week. So, people, listen. Okay, thank you for listening. We hope you will rate, review, and subscribe to help get the word out. We'll be back next week or the week after that with a new episode. You can find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
And like I said, you can follow us at runningonempty_pod on Instagram, or you can get in touch through our website, runningonemptypod.com, for the latest news and episode info.
Okay, love you. Keep running. Bye.
Bye.